What is gang politics? I had a question. Maybe somebody can come on this live and answer this to me. We can have a constructive conversation before you get your panties in a bunch or any of that. I'm not coming from the perspective of knowing, but I do have an opinion, like we all have. And also, I have my own experiences. So I ask again, what is gang politics? Like, what exactly does it entail? Who does it benefit? What is the end goal? You know what I'm saying? Like, what what is the end game to it? What do you get a pension? Do you get a retirement plan? Some type of benefits? What does it, you know what I mean? What comes with gang politics? Before I get into it, for the people watching this replay, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate it. This is FBA Page Boy. I like to ask different questions. And these questions may or may not be comfortable or uncomfortable, depending on who you ask. But like I said, we'll have these questions, and some people may not want to ask them, and some people may not want to answer them based on different biases or what have you. So I ask this question: what is gang politics? Who does it benefit? What is the end game? What is the end game to gang politics? What is the benefit to it? Come on in the live. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it. I'm asking a question. What is gang politics? Anybody know? I would like to have a constructive conversation. If you are in a gang, I would like to know. If you could tell, what is gang politics? What are your gang's politics? What's the end game? Who does it benefit? Do you get a pension? Do you got a retirement plan? uh, oh man. It came to my mind because I just watched a video of this essay, and he's talking about it like it's like the cure to cancer. He's talking about it like it's, which, to each their own. If that's all you know, I respect it. But one thing for sure is that normally those type of people don't respect a real man. Because they got this mistaken that a gangster is somebody that puts in work, does the little damage, killing and shit like that. And that's not the truth. A gangster is not somebody that walks around tough or, you know, with a blammer and shoots people and shit, robs and sells drugs. That's not a gangster. What exactly are you in control of? What is the end game? What is your goal? Somebody needs to explain this. What is the gang politics? especially nowadays. Hello, I am here. Don't be that sad. Always be nice. What? I don't know what the fuck. But anyway, yeah, I always want to know. And I have my own experiences, and it's always been stupid to me. It's always been something that's not, it never intrigued me. Especially nowadays, nowadays you can see that it's just a fad. It's just a title. I want to be a part of something. It's like kind of like wearing a fucking jersey of your favorite team. You know, like what is your goal? What do you benefit from it? Seriously, whoever comes in this live and you supposedly a gang member or what have you, I would like to have a constructive conversation about this. We don't need to have our panties in a bunch about it. We don't got to get offended or, take disrespect. I would honestly like to know. As far as my opinion, as far as my outlook and experiences of gang politics, it has no end game. We all know the end game of it. You're not benefiting no one, not including yourself. It's not benefiting no one. And to me, it's a lose-lose situation. So at the end of the day, somebody, a so-called gangster, what exactly are you taking care of? What business are you taking care of? You know what I mean? Like it's not honorable. It's not righteous. So, and I'm only saying this like been there, done that. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not looking down on no one. It's me being able to look back at foolishness that I've been in or been around, and I'm like, damn, that shit just wasted so much fucking time. That wasted, like, I was stupid. It was, it was a waste of time. It was a waste of fucking time, waste of life. Like, what is the end game? What is your goal? What do you benefit from it? Literally, you know, what is the, you know, what is the community benefit? What do your loved ones benefit from it? Seriously, I would like to know what is gang politics and what really does it entail? Like what's the long game? What's the end game? What is your goal of it? You don't get a pension. You don't have a retirement plan. You don't get health care. 9 times out of 10, shit, the ones that you saying, oh, that's my gang, you know what I mean? That's my gang, that's my brother, all that shit. Like, soon as shit hit the fan, everybody scattered like roaches, every man for theyself. You no longer, you know what I mean? Like, so I would like to know, what exactly is gang politics? You don't run shit, you know what I'm saying? You don't own shit. It's not like the 20s. It's not like the, you know what I mean, in the 1800s and shit. It's not like where people are actually protecting their communities and fighting against a system. I would only respect gang politics, you know what I mean? I would only respect gang politics if you had a goal of trying to overthrow the system that we're all in, which is white supremacy. you know, like why wouldn't you want to? Why wouldn't you want that to be your goal? Why is that not a part of your politics? As you can see, nowadays, and even when I was younger, Gangs it was just all about a fad. It was just about who want to be down, who want to you need protection and you need protection from somebody look just like you. How foolish is that? You know what I'm saying? Once upon a time, y'all played football together and shit. I'm speaking from experience. I just think it's all foolish. That's why I look at it and it's like, damn, I never had nobody speak to me about land. I never had nobody speak to me about owning nothing. What is the end game? What do you benefit from it? We all know the outcome. It's only two things. Which is it which those two things, you know what I mean, can happen even without you being affiliated with that shit. So it's like, what really do you benefit? You're honoring a bunch of, lose-lose laws, lose-lose rules. All while submitting to a bigger system. All while submitting to a bigger system. Ain't that something? That's why it makes me laugh. That's exactly why it makes me laugh. I'm like, how in the world can you call yourself running something or, you know, enforcing any kind of rules or laws or whatever you want to call it, codes, when at the end of the day, you're submitting to a bigger system. You're submitting to a bigger system. What happens, right? You catch a charge, boom, you catch a murder, you know, whatever it is. And, I notice I went to the most extreme. Boom, you catch a body and you fucking sit before the judge. Now you yes sir and yes ma'am. Like, are you really a gangster? Like, you gotta submit to a system that's bigger than you. So what exactly is your politics? That's the end game or what? Yes, that is the end game. Don't you think? Don't you look at that as foolish? That's got to be foolish to somebody. Like I said, it's just a fad nowadays. It ain't been the real thing since fucking the 20s. Where people actually were fighting, people away from their community, from, coming in the middle of the night and killing their babies and their wives and shit, their mothers. That's originally what gangs started for. We had to fight all fucking the savages in the middle of the night. Now it's just I would like to wear these colors and get bitches and get drunk and get high. I don't own nothing, but I'm a gangster. I'll shoot you in the face. Like, what does that do for you? What is the politics? What is the, you know what I mean? What is your get down on it? Once again, to each their own. All I can say is at the end of the day, a real man, a real gangster will listen to a man that has a plan, that has motion, bigger than just some fucking bumping my head insanity shit. I can speak to you about land. I never had nobody speak to me about land, owning property, none of that. That ain't what motherfuckers was pushing. That definitely wasn't what nobody was pushing. Even selling your little packs and shit. How far can you get? You get caught, now you gotta answer to the bigger system. Now you yes sir and yes ma'am to the judge. You yes sir and yes ma'am to the police first. To the scraper, that's what I call them. All he do is roll around and scrape shit off the street and bring it to the judge. Bring it to the system. That's it. Street soldier. That's all he is. But you sitting up here trying to plead your case in the middle of the block. No, sir, it wasn't mine. That's one thing you ain't, nobody can never say they seen me do. I've never fucking said 2 words. Shit, just throw the cuffs on, I'm gone. You know, just, what do I need to speak to you for? All you are is the scraper. All you is the sweeper. What do I need to speak to you for? You know, now, and let me get my day in court. I don't need to talk to you. I can't stand when I see fools sitting up here going back and forth with the police. That's crazy. That's insanity. And then in the same breath, that same nigga be like, I'm a gangster. How the fuck do you call yourself a gangster and you sit up here begging to a man or, going back and forth to a man saying that wasn't me or I ain't do it or, loosen these cuffs. Like, fuck out of here, man. Let them do what they do. It's the inevitable. You get your day in court. Like I said, you can't be a gangster if you got to answer to something bigger than you. You got to answer to a system. So that's why I say, what is your politics? If your politics don't consist of trying to overthrow the biggest system in the world on this earth, white supremacy, I don't have no, I'll give you common respect, but for you to say that, you this, you that, like, what does killing your own, what does, walking around talking about I got this, I got that, what is that doing for you? Nothing. It's absolutely doing Nathan for nobody. And the sad part about it is, because once again, I'm coming from experience, you'll get older and look back at your foolish days, and you're going to think the same thing. You're going to be asking these same questions. That's if you make it to the time where you can. And I pray to God that you're able to do that. Or in the afterlife, maybe we're able to do that, like Scrooge. Maybe we're able to look back at our shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful right now. I've lost people, you know what I'm saying? I've almost lost my life. And I thank God every day, every day. I walk around people that I've been around when I was younger and they can't even see me. Just like Scrooge, you feel me? That shit look crazy. It feels crazy. It's an eerie feeling. Do I tap them? Do I jump out the realm and tap them? Fuck no. I'm healthy. You know what I'm saying? I was dirty back then. I'm healthy now. If that makes sense. Why would I be like, oh, do you remember me? Fuck no. Or why would I try to reach back and be like, I can help you? Fuck no. I think I tried to do that once years ago, and a nigga tried to rob me, and I knew he would. I can't blame him. I can't blame him. I'm like, shit. Once upon a time, we're doing it together. I already know. Like, I think I taught this nigga. So it's like, of course. Yeah, most definitely. It hurt me. It hurt me in my soul. That was my brother. Not blood, but you know what I mean? Like, you like, damn. What is it? I pray to God you get to the point in your life where you look back and be like, man, what the fuck does that do for me? What really is the end game? What is the end game? What is the end game? Like I said, I just watched this video of this Latino brother speaking about, his gang's politics, and it was about a phone. They were talking about a phone, you know, phone use in prison, and I just thought that was like, I felt like I lost brain cells listening to it. They're speaking about a phone use, phone politics in prison, and I felt like I lost brain cells just listening to this brother talk about this shit. I'm like, damn, you're gonna get to a point in your life where you look back at that like, How fucking stupid was I? We're talking about using a phone. Meanwhile, you know what I mean? The ossifer is sitting right there, and he punches in and punches the fuck out, and he goes home and laughs about all this shit. Yeah, they got into a big war over a phone. Like, and this is not to belittle anyone. You know, I can sit down and have a constructive conversation with anyone about this, and I would love to. You know, rest in peace to my brother. I wish I could have asked him these questions. Cause I tried. I pulled out. I got clean. I washed my face off and my hands off and shit. And I tried to reach back and grab my brother, and my brother said, literally, that ain't me. Like trying to be a working man. He was like, that ain't me. And always thought that was wild. I still remember that to this day. He was like, that ain't me, man. That's you. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Once upon a time, it was both of us, you know what I mean, doing the dirt. And then I fucking, steady getting jammed up. For some reason, you walking clean. You walking clean every time. It gets tiring. That shit gets exhausting. It's like, what the fuck is the end game? Somebody needs to explain this shit. You know what I mean? I feel bad for my brothers and sisters that lost their life to this shit. Not even just, literally off the earth. I'm talking like once you in their little system. Once you in a big system. Fuck a little. Yeah, it definitely ain't little. They run everything on this earth. If that ain't in your politics to overthrow the system of white supremacy, I don't know what to tell you. You ain't talking about no owning land. You ain't talking about, you know what I mean? None of that type of shit. Know when that starts to hit your brain after shit hits the fan. When you start looking back at the fullest shit you've done. The fullest, all the time you wasted. That's when you start, thinking about shit like that. You can have kids and all, you know what I mean? And you still ain't even thinking like that. Shit got to be taken from you. It got to be stripped straight the fuck from under your feet. And that's when you start thinking about stuff like that. Why do you have to go sit down in a little prison to start thinking like that? All the old heads will literally tell you that, like, man. And I don't care what you think, if your crime was justified, or it's honorable or whatever. I'm always gonna look at it like, shit. You could have moved better. It's chess, not checkers. You could have moved wiser. Get in and get out. A wise man will tell you to fuck that. But most motherfuckers get comfortable. That's certainly not a gangster right there. That to me is a red flag. Soon as you're comfortable. Anybody that tells me that they're comfortable. If you're comfortable in this system of white supremacy, you certainly are not a gangster. I don't agree with you. You're comfortable. You're comfortable with using their phones. You're comfortable with driving their cars. You're comfortable with eating their food. You definitely can't say that you're a gangster. You're not trying to. You're not about no business. You're not trying to overthrow this system of white supremacy. You're not a gangster. So what exactly are your gang's politics? Shit, for fuck's sake, the biggest crip in the world is Snoop Dogg, and even he is retracting the shit that he used to do when he was younger. Now that he an old head, now that you know what I mean? He a grandpop, which is blessed. He's blessed. He's blessed to live that long to even witness any of this, to experience any of that. And yeah, everybody is able to do that. We live and we learn. That's the true definition of living we learn. Like we can't be doing the same shit when you're 50. You can't be doing the same shit when you're 30 if you make it to that. You know? And the sad part about it, just from my experience, majority of the motherfuckers in the street, that ain't even them. I've had to tell many motherfuckers, seriously, like, yo, that ain't you. And know how they know it ain't them? Know how I know it ain't them? Because it's like, it's too easy. You in the, we all out there in the den, we all out there in the fire. You know what I mean? Or whatever, however you want to depict it, jungle, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And it'd be too easy. Like, that can't be you. You're not even calculated. You're comfortable. Once again, like, you can't call yourself a gangster if you're comfortable at any point in time. And gangster ain't about being tough or shooting and you know, stabbing or any of that shit. That's not gangster. You know what a gangster does? A gangster handle his business, handle his BI. That's what we used to call it back in the day. Handle your BI. Like, that's what a gangster does. You know who I call a gangster? My mother. I've called my grandma a gangster. That's a true gangster, somebody that handles their business. No, they ain't got bodies on their damn, jacket or none of that shit. It ain't about that. That's true politics. And the thing about it, if they could change the world, they would. So what exactly is these gangs' politics? Fuck no. It's got a ceiling. They're satisfied with what? Satisfied with having, a pocket full of money that you only gonna give to the bigger system, to the bigger gang. You got a pocket full of money with the other gang's faces on them. What the fuck? Like, that doesn't make sense at all. It's foolish. It's got to be foolish. Like, I would love to have a constructive conversation with somebody about this. We don't have to have our panties in a bunch. We don't have to, argue or disrespect each other. None of that. We can literally have a constructive conversation about it. What exactly are your politics? What does it benefit? What is the end game? Do you have any benefits? What is your goal? Is it going to provide generational wealth? Is it going to provide longevity? I ain't talking about longevity of bullshit, sitting in their prisons, being like all you are is a number and it's your stock. You become stock. That's what the fuck you become. We're stock right now. Out in the free world, we're stock. That's it. Until you build your own. You build your own equity, which it's very hard as a black man. It's very hard as a black woman. But just me speaking as a black man, yeah, it's very hard to build equity in the system of white supremacy. Ooh wee. Does that make me get discouraged? Fuck no. Hell no. I keep going. What they say, brick by brick? Yeah. Brick by brick, for sure. I'm gonna get there. That's what I could say.